Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
And so the Bears are sending their compensatory fourth-round pick to Jacksonville for Nick Foles.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Chicago Bears select Cole Kmet.
Guess who's back?
Philatosion, Shane Marshall. The Tape Never Lies Network.
A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around.
You know what? It was an overthrow by Mitch. I mean,
Injured bear on the field is Akeem Hicks.
Cousins loses the football. Strip sack and a takeaway.
Bears our life.
But Khalil Mack.
Bears our life. We go online right after Bears games with your boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive. Bears our life. Bears our life. We go online right after Bears games with your boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive. Ran up with a true analysis. You expect raw passion for the show. Bears fans get nothing less. Locked in with real emotion and passion for every play. Coach Phil gonna bring that range, but in with facts my shade. Post game show like nothing else you're gonna hear. Some can try to copy, but a bucket's not sincere. Delivering the truth on what just happened, to be clear. That's why we're on TV, so you can see it, not just hear. Hey, yo, with Draft Dr. Phil, you know it's always hit sticks. Splitting double teams like 96 Akeem Hicks. You can tell the shit matters. A bit love can be felt. Critical of Nagy cause the talent he's been dealt. Our life keeps growing. Shane's all knowing. Delivering the truth on how the QB's throwing. Dimes on time or just lacking fundamental. Whatever the case, we get hot like Cecil. Fiery discussions on what happened in the game. This ain't your daddy's postgame, so expect the fucking flame. Not for the average fan, a loss they can't survive.
But don't you worry. Bears our life.
Bears our life. Bears our life. We go on live right after Bears games with their boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive.
the Red
Bears our life.
Dr. Phil
Bears our life. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive. Bears our life. Bears our life. Bears our life. We go on live right after
The Tape Never Lies Network.
This is Bears Hour Live.
We can't polish a turd, Bears fans. We cannot. I don't know what was going on with that open, if Phil was using Matt Nagy's playbook or Claude, whoever it was, but that was pretty awful. Same old Bears, 19-13. They lose to the hapless Minnesota Vikings. Just uninspiring all over the place. I know Phil's going to come in and talk about it here, but 3rd and 5, and you got guys, your offensive coordinator's calling for everybody to go deep. Simple slants. Just, again, fundamental football would mean a whole bunch, but hey, I don't know. This is a tough one for me because we invest so much time, we invest money, everything into this franchise, and it seems like this franchise doesn't care. Honestly, it's what it feels like. That showing today, that showing tonight, nobody watching this show deserves that. I don't know what you get excited about moving forward with this team. The defense has some players, but it's to me it's a sad day to be a Bears fan. It really is, because this team is a rudderless ship, and I don't see how they get out of it. You know, we we like to say that we speak the truth here, and this is exactly what this is. When they were saying that the Bears were a fraudulent 5-1, all the experts that were saying that we were holding accountable on this show, they were right. There's no other way to put it. But here we go. So BHL, we're going to keep rolling no matter how bad the product is that we watch on TV. And we're going to get this going. And here comes Draft Dr. Phil to give us his rant.
Turn it up a little, Claudio, because I can't hear it. There we go. I always give my rant in the reality of the truth. The reality of the truth here is no matter who calls plays, plays aren't football. Fundamentals are football. You got to understand your personnel. You got to understand the situations in the game to have a direct approach to attack a defense is to find its weakness. The Minnesota Vikings found your weakness. You couldn't find theirs. And it really boils down to protection issues, run game philosophy, and blocking and tackling. Who wants it more? Your defense kept you in the football game. And your offense continues to fail and falter because you have nowhere to lean back. You have no one to rely on. There's no identity. There's no counterplay to another play. You're running the wildcat to try to get offense. And exactly what Shane is talking about. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. If you can't protect, you go to three-step game. And you allow your receivers, who might be your best offensive weapons, and your tight end, to beat a one-on-one situation. That's what you do. You force them out of zone. Find the matchup. That's your job as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator. Instead, you got no rhythm. You got no identity. You have no philosophy. You have a house without walls. It's all windows. You keep throwing rocks. Because at the end of the day, you can't fucking win like that. Can't. It's embarrassing. It's beyond embarrassing. You need everything to be right. And the ship is always going to sink. Every time. Every time. Because I look at a coach and a team that has no identity. Their identity's on the other side of the football. Their identity is other phases in their team. The GM is nowhere to be found. The head coach is lost. He's over there hoping that this shit happens. The quarterback is terrible tonight. Everything about this game reeks of mistakes, fundamental issues, no identity, and no philosophy. Because if you're going to go toe-to-toe and try to be a playoff team, try to be a winning team, you got to run the football. You got to run. You can't have a receiver running the football. Now, granted, he was running hard. He was running hard, Cordarrelle. But that's not how you win games. You don't go bubble screen at midfield on third down and set yourself up for fourth down where Anthony Miller drops the ball. It's getting overly redundant. Nobody is stepping up. Allen Robinson out there not throwing blocks. People walking around your offense. Leno fucking pushing the guy again. The guy's getting fucking hammered. He's probably fucking got a lower lumbar issue now in the spine. the quarterback. Because just like Shane said, Nick Foles has never lasted a season. And all you Mitch haters, I'll tell you what, I was knowing that Mitch would be out there balling tonight. That's what I felt in my heart of heart. I said, I'll wait for the show to say it. I just feel it. This coach doesn't know how to use Mitch. He doesn't know how to use anybody. He didn't know how to use Jordan Howard. He doesn't know how to use the running Lamar Miller tonight. Got one carry. He's the most instinctive runner. You're giving Arterius Pierce. He's running out of bounds. It's so disgusting on every level, Shane, that I can't even begin to think that this team has any kind of light at the end of the tunnel for offense. It's just, let's pray that we get a turnover in a short field so we can get some points. Because we're that bad offensively. It's hard to watch. It's an embarrassment. No matter who's calling the plays, this team is fumbling. Fumbling down their leg. 5-5. Mediocrity defined. And that is my rant, Shane. It's unbelievable. It's so heartbreaking on every level.
Oh, it is, man, because we've talked about it. It starts all the way up at the top, and I don't know how you can take any of this serious moving forward, because if you're going to stay the same with the way that this franchise is set up, how do you expect anything to change? I mean, there's got to be wholesale changes. I mean, at this point, Phil, I honestly believe that we've probably overrated some of the talent on this offense of guys that we were expecting to. I mean, Anthony Miller continues to go out there.
He found his position, Shane. He's a
punt returner. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Phil. And
that's all he is.
And you can't trade up into the second round for a guy like that. You know, it's. I don't know, man. It's tough. But Phil, little things, and I know this isn't. I do put this on to the head coach. I talked to your dad about this a couple of weeks ago. When you see Nichols out there at the end of the game, they just give up a big touchdown. He makes a play and he's talking a bunch of shit in the backfield because he tackled the running back. Who gives a shit? Brent Urban was another one, going and doing his little dumb fucking dance when you're getting beat on Monday Night Football and your team is completely inept. You're a good defense. You're supposed to make those plays. What are you doing?
They kept them in the game.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but it's like these players need something to get pumped about. It's like they're trying because they don't have a fucking leader. They don't have an offense, Shane. So I get it. It's like a game within the game. I'm getting pumped up because I'm competing against the best running back right now in the league, and we're fucking stuffing them, and we're stopping them. And then you can't do anything offensively. It's like I don't even have an analogy to make up. I've never been stumped. I've never left the game before in my life till tonight on that fucking screen pass on third down before the miss on fourth down. That's Claudio. Fucking slammed
third
the door.
and 5 and you're going.
I didn't even see the play. I didn't see fourth down. I fucking left. I'm fucking screaming to the gods.
He could have dumped that off to Mooney, Phil, and Mooney'd still be running right now on that fourth down play.
I gotta see it. I've watched it like 12 times because I asked Shane to send it to me and I couldn't.
But I mean, 3rd and 5, Phil. That's where it starts.
3rd and 5,
and you're throwing
second down play call.
You're throwing the ball -5 to a wide receiver that's not his game at all.
Exactly. He ain't fucking twitchy. He's fucking route high point receiver. He's not a twitchy. Let's get him a fucking screen ball. I'm watching football on Sunday, and I'm watching offensive linemen come off the ball. They're making holes. They're setting edges, and I'm like, what is this? I haven't seen an edge or a hole like this ever with Matt Nagy. In fact, last time I think was Jordan Howard against the fucking Packers. They opened up a fucking hole and he fucking runs over fucking now the middle linebacker with the Giants. I forget the kid's name. Former Stanford middle linebacker. I'm sure someone in the chat remember. He fucking trucks him and goes into the end zone. You win the NFC North because you're running the fucking football. You have pride. You have a fucking identity. Can you imagine me in this fucking locker room? Imagine my father. I can't even believe that you have no fucking pride. None. None. To run the ball is to define who you are. To go back there and waste downs with the Wildcat. You want to run the Wildcat? Put fucking a big guy in there that's going to fucking break a tackle. You're putting a receiver. He doesn't even know how to fucking mesh fake. It's so bad to watch it. Every action game is lazy. There's no fundamentals. And finally, you're seeing a pocket. You're seeing them in the beginning of the game. Give them some time, and they're doing it. But there is, as soon as the play call becomes so fucking gimmicky, you see the whole team go like this, that Jay Cutler twitch. They're uncomfortable because you don't know how to get them in a rhythm of confidence. I just can't believe that you can't understand exactly, Stingray. You're in my brain right now. I'm so fired up. That instinctive backs are the ones that need to run that outside and inside zone because they know how to fucking stretch it and cut it up in there and hit it. Not a fucking undrafted rookie who's never fucking got a carry. Oh my God, you give Lamar Miller. You understand your personnel and the matchups. You didn't run one fucking seam route to two tight ends that are 6'7". 6'7". Meanwhile, you got Kirk Cousins doing a fucking happy electric dance, the boogaloo, because he fucking finally won. And he ran waggle and dumped it to the tight end who's uncovered. This is what you're dealing with here. You're getting beat by fucking little league teams. You're a JV coach football team. It starts with pace, like Shane said. Get rid of fucking Nagy. Get rid of them all. Pagano, the head coach, tomorrow, decide who you want to fucking call plays. Get this fucking BU philosophy the fuck out of Chicago because you never win by being selfish. You do it together. Until you are fucking together on offense, you will never win. So you can hold the punt returner accountable, but you can't hold the left tackle accountable. You got issues. All politics. All of it. All of it. I'm disgusted. I'm more fired up now than I was with the rant because I'm so exhausted with this fucking franchise. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Phil, we had 149 total yards on offense tonight, and we had a 105-yard kickoff return. Let that sink in. And you still had a chance to win the football game.
You always have a chance to win with this defense. That's the thing. If you had a semblance of an idea, fuck all the fucking talent. Get in two tight ends and start firing the fuck out. Run fucking 20 times. Get your offense going. Get the engine started by running. You can't go second down runs. Go back and look. First down throw, second down run. That was Bill Lazor's. Let's change this. First down throw, second down run. First down throw, and that's what he did. And that's easy. That's easy. And guess what they did? They got him in third downs, and they blitzed them every fucking third down. It was you should be up there. This is where it is. No huddle on third down. No, give Nick the calls. Let him call out. Now we're slide protection to the right. We see it. 22's coming. 54's coming. Let's max protect. Run slants. Boom. First down. But we can't do that. We can't. Because we got a coach who's more worried about the fucking Wildcat that they needed to put in this week because they were going to trick someone than actually fundamentals and knowing that you can't do anything offensively if you don't run the ball. Oh, it's so frustrating on every level. Had a terrible day, and this just fucking puts it over the top. puts it over the top, Shane?
It's tough, man. I'm right there with you. Like I said, we're invested into this team so heavily. I mean, we live and breathe and die with this each and every day. Well, here's Claude. You can pop it up. Here's the head coach. This should be a good one to listen to.
Hold on.
It's been the same stuff over and over.
Where is it, Claude?
Jeff Dickerson.
There we go, Claude.
Hey, Matt, I'm sure with everything going on offensively, the last thing you wanted to see was Nick get hurt like that at the end of the game.
Thanks, Jeff.
First of all, is he doing okay?
Good observation,
You can share with us and kind of what's going through your mind as that's all happening.
Yeah, no, it's you take a step back and you just like you just said, you get a guy that's we're all going through a lot right now, and then at the end to get injured like that, they're still looking at him. It was his leg or his hip, so I think they're still working through the details on that. I have not talked to him yet in the locker room. I will here.
I didn't
after
see
we're
it.
done and just make sure he's okay. I know he's
I didn't see
he's
it.
upset.
I got to review the tape.
It's been frustrating. It's been hard, and that's the part that's difficult through all this because no one wants it more than him.
It's funny
to
that
be out there.
Khalil Mack throws
keep an eye on that.
Drew Brees down.
Again, it's
Brady
this bye is
gets a
coming
flag
at
for
a
that.
good time
Same
for us.
thing.
We're a little bit beat up right now, so we need to be able to get some guys back and get healthy.
Yeah, that's what
Pat
it's
Finley.
about, Coach.
Hey, Matt, what can you do to make sure that this bye doesn't send your guys into a funk? You haven't won a game in a month.
Yeah.
I know you're positive, but how do you stay positive?
Yeah, no, just by just persistence over resistance. We had some guys break it down in the locker room at the end of the game there, and I was impressed with what they had to say. And again, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but it goes to show the character that we're fighters. And as hard as it is, and as frustrating, and like you said, you haven't won in a month. We got to.
They're not going to win at all.
Over resistance, and just keep fighting and keep staying
win.
together, and eventually something here, will hopefully change. And I think
what changes?
Where we got to believe and trust and keep playing for each other.
What changes is you. You change.
Matt, to finally get some takeaways and then also a couple punt returns that gave you plus field position. What is your level of frustration of not being able to turn that into anything?
Yeah, it's high. It's high, Dan. Because
oh my God.
As you all know, this whole season we've been doing really well in defense. We've been struggling a little bit with the field position. We're letting teams kick field goals, not giving up touchdowns, and that's great. And that's what feels good.
You're going to blame the defense.
We weren't getting so many turnovers and takeaways. We really put a huge emphasis on that all week long, and to get those early on in the game and get the field position on those, and then defensively, we've been challenging CP, and these guys have been taking it to heart to get a touchdown on a kickoff return, and we got one. And so that's the part when that's frustrating is we do all that, we have field position, and we still can't capitalize. That's
totally
the part
agree, Zach. These questions,
the why
man.
part,
Get to the root. Where's your offense, Coach? You came here to turn it around.
Hey, Matt, do you know right now if Mitch will be available to you after the bye week? And then second question, just what was your evaluation of the offense from your position on the sideline this week, not calling the plays?
Yeah. So I don't know yet about Mitch. I think I hate to say, I think there's a possibility, but I don't know that for sure. I think it's going to be day by day. I don't know if he knows that. So we'll just keep an eye on that, obviously, with Nick's status. We'll have to see where that's at as we go. But, we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll, again, like I said, with the bye week coming at the right time,
I just don't know.
We would need it to come. And then my perspective from watching from the sideline is I thought we had a couple good drives in the first half that we didn't capitalize into touchdowns, which I got to go back and watch the tape. I know on the 1 3rd down they brought cover 0, and we missed the one route. But what I felt today on the sideline, I felt that we struggled on second down. I felt that second down was not good.
Yeah, because you were predictable every time.
5 yards in the run game.
You
which
ran
a lot better than what we've been doing.
Every second down.
Put us in at times 2nd and 4, and 2nd and 4 was turning into 3rd and 5.
Guess what, Coach? You can't run the Wildcat on 2nd and 4.
And so that to me is what it felt
Dumbass.
like.
You can't even block fucking inside zone, and you're gonna go out and run wildcat with the receiver without a mesh?
How you were gonna feel?
What are you doing?
On the field, knowing you weren't calling the plays. Can
Fucking
you just talk
arena
a little bit about
league.
the emotions that you felt, and then how that changed as the offense continued to
Takes me
struggle?
2 seconds to
really
figure
couldn't
you
do
out.
anything about it.
Blitz the shit out of you on
initially,
third
it
down.
is so
That's
new to
it.
me when
You
I'm
can't
going out there,
protect.
just understanding that
You're too.
I'm not calling the plays, and what it does enable you to do is see some different things that you don't see when from in between plays, or maybe it's right after a drive, a team's coming off the field, and you're looking for somebody to talk to or congratulate. That you're able to do that now where I wasn't before. It was different, and it took a little bit for me to get used to, but then I kind of felt comfortable in that role and was feeling it. Then you get down kind of into that fourth quarter when it's 19-13, and
This guy will never have another job in the
that just
NFL.
comes down to that trust, right? In this
Guarantee you
moment,
that. He'll be a
understanding
fucking
being able to help
receivers
as much as
coach.
possible.
Passing
Like
game
I said,
coordinator
I
of
didn't
the
wanna-
fucking
I did not
Kansas
want
City
to
Chiefs.
make Bill feel like I was on his shoulder the whole game, and I didn't do that. I just went and played, and so it was different for me, certainly.
2 first downs in the second half. Think about that, coach. What are your thoughts on that? You don't need to see tape to know that's pathetic.
Mark Potash.
Say it! Say it! Own it!
Yeah, Matt,
We gotta be better. Like, do something.
To play callers, did Bill calling plays? Did that in effect kind of throw you off your game a little bit, or did it just seem like it was a detriment? What impact do you think that had? Making
Throw him
the
off his
switch
game.
as you did?
This is the same game.
No, I don't think so. I think, this has been something that for us has been going on, most of this season. And, we're just trying to get to a point to let the reason why we did it, right? Why we ended up doing this last week, like you said, or at the beginning
Offensive
of this
guru.
week was just because we felt like we were, struggling to get into that rhythm, and we weren't taking advantage, and we weren't scoring touchdowns, and we just, we were, but we were scoring them.
Phil, can you hear me?
And we weren't getting touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, coach.
So I
We
think
can
you
hear
see it.
you. Hold on.
Obviously,
You
it
can
was-
say whatever
it
you
was
want.
repetitive
No,
today.
no,
It was still happening.
I didn't know whether you could hear me because I yelled
not
it a
only
couple of
for
times. Yeah,
the
I wasn't
players'
on, I
health
guess.
right now,
The mic.
but for us as a coaching staff, we need to make sure that we're really honestly going back now and saying, okay, what's going on and where are we at now that we have some time?
We
to
can't
really
figure
see
it out.
And then the other
High-ranking
thing that's important too,
NFL
guys, I think
persons just
when you
texted
get
me.
into these bye weeks,
Phil,
it's very, very
They
important to
had
talk to the
negative
players as
2
well,
yards of
and just really
offense
find out, okay, we have this
going
this
into the
final part
fourth
of the
quarter,
season,
Shane.
and we want
He
to
had
turn
6
things
yards.
around and get input from your players. What's
Negative
their suggestions?
2
What's their thoughts? And then you
yards
take
of
that and figure out
offense.
what's best for your team. That's what I am going to do as a head coach.
That
as
is
a guy on offense. I'm going to
Jonathan Quinn level
I'm going to talk to them individually.
crazy.
Couple more for Coach Jason
He
Leisure.
can't even freaking say this sucks. I'm
Matt,
so
2
pissed.
questions for you on Foles.
So worried about the
It was a
locker
jarring
room.
scene to
Let's
see
give him credit.
Hart out
He's
there
got a
and
great
the
locker room, Shane.
Did you get a sense right away this was a very
He's got
serious
real good
injury?
players. They
And
love him.
secondly, seemed like
Yeah,
he was
that's
running
what
for
it's
his life and
about.
getting hit all
How
night.
many
Were you
people
holding your
love
breath,
Lombardi
hoping
and
that something like
Hallis?
this
They
wouldn't
fucking
happen?
hated him.
Yeah, so when I got out there right away, I wasn't sure what it was. I didn't know if it was like his ribs or his shoulder or what. And then when I saw the amount of pain that he was in on
Talk
the
about
ground,
Nick Foles' injury.
I hope he's okay, but he was.
Well,
in a
that's
lot
the
of
question
pain.
they asked him.
He's a tough.
Exactly.
Dude,
Why?
and he was in a lot of pain. And
We already
you see that
heard about this
down there
before.
with him,
He doesn't know. It could be his
feel
hip.
for him,
It could be his back. He doesn't
you
know.
don't know
We're
how-
gonna
how
ask him
good that
again.
is. So
Do your
that's the
job,
hard part.
media.
Again,
-2 yards of offense going into the fourth. You had 6 yards of
protection
offense.
and where
That's
we're
the
at with,
story.
Getting the ball out, quick game, getting the ball out, and scout
Quick
protection,
game. You
getting the
ain't
ball
got a
out.
quick game. The only thing quick is the fucking hook to get you out of fucking town.
Got to look at and make
God,
sure,
I
like,
can't stand this guy.
where are we at right now, and how are we doing this, and all that.
That's
Can't
going to be it
admit
for
he was
tonight.
wrong.
Thanks, Coach.
This is the guy that blamed it all on Mitch, Coach. He blamed it all on Mitch. And really tonight, you could see We didn't get to properly introduce you tonight, Coach. My dad, Coach Philatoshin Sr., you got this witness history tonight. Bears played the worst offensive game, and we're still in the game to show you how good this team could possibly be is in that place there. So this coach, well, talk about what you saw. I don't want to structure your thoughts for you.
No, I just saw a great defensive team losing a football game and have a kickoff return for 105 yards. That was the impetus to get something going. And it's just, you're right, Phil. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better what you said. I'm not going to repeat what you said. But you're right, there's no rhyme or reason. First of all, I was thinking about these formations that he puts his team in. There's no way. And then I looked at the quarterback, and I look at most of the quarterbacks in the NFL that are real good quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And, Brady and Breeze, and they're yelling, linebacker, Mike linebacker. Exactly. And they're telling the guys where to block and what's going on. They're not saying anything. There's no communications. And the formations are the same with no motion to determine whether you're going to have.
They don't give them any. They don't trade. Talk about trading. How helpful would that be?
Let me finish my thought.
Sorry, go ahead.
You don't know whether they're in zone or man-to-man. So if you get in close and they're all lined up in a bunch, you don't know who's coming. So now you have a problem with your offensive line. You even made it 10 times worse because they don't know where they're coming from.
Play right.
You got to spread them out. Spread them out.
Greasy pointed that out live on the air.
You spread them out, and now your linebackers can't do what they're doing. Is blitzing, because if they blitz, that guy's going to run a slant, and you got a home run.
Slant.
That's what he's got to be.
Know what that is in this offense.
I'm telling you,
unbelievable.
It's so depressing to watch this thing. And you got two great receivers and a tight end that's not utilized, and it's embarrassing. Just look at this. This is the NFL. This is Lafayette High School. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah, Phil, you want to run, but you can't win and run. You really can't win and run. Just take a look at the New England Patriots. You can't. They won a game. I don't know how they won that game, but you can't win the NFL with just running the ball. You need to run the ball so you can do the other things.
Well,
but
that's what I mean.
You can't rely on it totally.
He's got no identity, so they have to figure out
I understand
how
you got
to
a great
get these guys tough, and they don't do it. They can't do it. And
who's in charge of the personnel? Who drafted these guys?
Ryan Pace.
Number 72 is not an NFL player. He's not an NFL. You can scratch him off. That guy he's got to go. Your right tackle's not any better. I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, your best player is your center, and the rest of the guys you can take your backup guys and start them next week. That'll be an incentive. That would be an incentive. Because you got young people that drafted are probably real good players that don't know their assignment. So make it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Right?
Exactly. We've been saying this for months.
Go in there
years.
And do some things that they can do. That's right. You got to know your personnel, and you got to attack the defenses and their weaknesses, but you can't find them out. And I tell you something, I don't think they had it. Before this game started, somebody said the Bears are going to kill this team, and I said no, Bears are going to lose tonight. That's my thought. That's what's in my mind. I didn't think that. I know that.
I picked them to lose.
Yeah, I picked them to lose too. But you know why? Because their defense is a real good defense, and your offense is a poor offense. So they got the advantage right there.
Right. They have an average offense with a great back, and we have a great defense. And then they have a good defense. So that's going to trump you. How about this? Yeah. How about this stupidity of a coach? The broadcast is scouting for them. Special teams, they've been shitty. They let up a kickoff. They had a missed snap on a fucking field goal, extra point. And here's the game and the balance. You're not out there trying to block that last punt. As a leader of men, As a NFL coach that has 15 guys cutting tape, helping scout, giving you those stats, not the PFF ones, the real ones, and you're not going all out to block their punt when this guy's
Phil, we
had
talked
3
about
blocked
that
last week.
We talked about that in real time. And the Vikings are a team that has struggled snapping the football.
Exactly. You should be scouted that,
Should've.
know it, and go after it. That should be your plan. Instead,
I think I
we're
put
not
that
even going
down.
to return it. We're not even going to return it. It was
How can you not
disgusting.
block that punt when they were punting the last time? I just didn't understand how they didn't go after him.
Oh my God, it's a disgrace.
And-
There's so many disgraces.
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
Nick Foles wasn't on his game.
Well, you know something? I gotta relate this to you.
Go ahead.
Nick Foles is a very good quarterback. I don't care what you saw tonight. All I can think about is Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett was with the New England Patriots for 3 years until he got shell-shocked, and they let him go. And he hung around. He signed with the Los Angeles Rams. And he didn't make that team, and the Raiders picked him up. He only won 2 Super Bowls. Somebody got him and knew what to do with this guy. He was a great quarterback, and he
but
won
Nick
2
Foles,
Super Bowls. This guy's
problem-
a good quarterback, and so is Mitch. They're both good quarterbacks. You got to find out what they could do best and surround them with the people that can do what he can do. That's the bottom line. Now, when you can't draft as a high school coach, you got to do what you can with what you have, and you got to
Right.
be able to change. Don't think that this is your offense all the time, because if they can't do it, you got to go to something else. And I don't see that happening with the Bears. There's good enough players. You got 2 great receivers. I think that 12 and 11 are both good receivers, real
Oh
good.
my God, they are.
And I think the tight end, he's got talent. You know, maybe he's not as the toughest tight end in the world, but he's got talent. He's got to catch the ball, and you got to make things happen for him. But and the running
tell
back,
you, I would've-
Montgomery not being there tonight is a big problem, because
Oh,
he's a tough guy. I'll tell you right now. What a great back he is. And well, Phil, there's not much I could say more that you haven't said. You know, the Bears are just not going to win another game, I don't think.
Not playing like this. Totally agree. Unless they had a couple of shots tonight on, interception. Jalen Johnson could have had one. Eddie Jackson could have had one off of a tip there. But even on defense, and I understand that your defense is out there a whole bunch, but this team continues to play so soft on 3rd and long. It drives me nuts.
You're talking about the secondary, yeah.
Yeah, and they will get when they give up a 3rd and long, it's not even close. It could be 3rd and 12, 3rd and 19, and the guy is wide open. There's nobody around. I just don't get it.
You know something? I heard Urban Meyer's talk the other day.
Yeah.
When he was talking about, you got 2 wideouts and they're very good. You can't let them just run hitches on you and beat you. You got 8 yards and all of a sudden they make it into 14 yards because they're talented people. And maybe you don't have great tacklers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what you got to do is you got to come up on them. Even if it's to disguise it. Because now they know they can't throw that hitch, and then you can release them from the point that they're at. It looks like they're going to play and pressure them, and then you're going to play man-to-man, but you're not. You got to disguise things. You can't just lay them out there and off 8 to 10 yards. They come out with a slot, and they got the
way
corner
too
is
soft.
8 yards. The other guy's at 12 yards. And I'm saying, what, are you kidding me? Anybody can complete the ball from there.
Exactly.
They're just
it made
not.
it so easy. You got fans asking you about what you thought of the soft zone coverages called by.
I wrote that down right here.
Go ahead.
Soft
Speak
coverage
on
in
it.
the second series.
Yep.
2 soft coverages. TD 7-0. That was it. I wrote.
Coach, how much is the inept offense playing into that philosophy on defense where they don't want to get beat up over the top for a quick score because the game could be over in the first quarter because you have no offense to rely on?
Well, you got to. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, your coach comes on here and he's very mellow, and he's trying to, answer questions as realistically as he possibly can, or lie, one or the other. And you don't know what's going on in their locker room. Now, listen, you're on every week, and some of the people that are listening to you are Bears players.
I know.
And what happens is they believe it. They believe it. This guy's an idiot. And your defense is playing their hearts out, and you're doing what you're doing on offense, and they're saying, "Are you kidding me? What am I doing here?"
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to do. You got to believe in your coaches.
But do you, back to Shane's question, I know you don't believe in the philosophy, but do you believe that that's where Nagy has decided to say to the defensive coordinator, we are not going to man up and put ourselves at a disservice we can't win from behind. So they play soft and they attack with their dominant front. Those, let me tell you, Roquan Smith is a absolute 58. He is an absolute animal out there playing with, you got Fuller, Smith, Akeem Hicks gets hurt. I mean, they were dominating that running back. They were just taking him out, hitting him.
I don't know if you saw that. I think it's important when you bring up Akeem Hicks right there, Phil. I think you saw the text from Ryan Cox. You see Akeem Hicks walking off of the field, and he said, "It's my hammy. I'm done."
I read his lips and said to Claudio, he said he's done.
Yeah.
He's like, he did? I go, yeah. So I thought it was like he pulled.
Well, if it's his hamstring, he should be done. He shouldn't be going out there. I thought that's what happened. I saw him running, and all of a sudden he pulled up.
Yep.
It's hard.
Talk about the guy that's 350 pounds running fast as he was running after that guy, and all of a sudden he pulls it. And it could be worse than you thought it was. He could be out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Well, you look at the safety, number 39. This guy got paid. He's the highest paid safety in the league. You see his effort in tackling. It's just porous. And
I noticed that.
How do you hold that type of player who's gotten paid a lot of money and is not holding up his end of the bargain in regards to setting the tone and they're all reaching up and trying to. This is Chicago. I don't understand how they haven't learned what you've taught. You punch the ball down. You're not going to rip. People are holding the ball. It's very rare. If you punch down on footballs, they come out.
Yeah.
These guys are just tackling and falling. They're carried. That one play to the tight end, he carried 5 guys for 12. It was what? 2nd and 20. He gets 22. He gets 22. He's wide open in the fucking zone, and he carries 5, 6 guys. They don't care sometimes in the defense. Is that going to separate the locker room? How do you hold a player that's gotten paid accountable?
Well, you know something. The players sometimes got to hold people accountable. I can remember. If you had a kid that wasn't giving his all, the guys in there beat the crap out of him. And the NFL is no different. Those guys, if you're not putting out, they're going to tell you. They are.
Well, you hope.
They'll tell you. And your coaches are going to tell you too.
His culture is be you. It's the opposite of everything you've taught me, and I've taught everybody going forward. You have to be together. You can't be you. You have to be together. This team seems to be fighting within itself. So they're competing. Let's look at it like this.
That's what happens all the time. You have a great defense and no offense. They're gonna tell them they're poor, and that starts a whole new day.
It's gonna make a separation of the locker room.
Right.
It's gonna be infighting, and then you got a coach that's in over his head, and he wants to be friends with everybody. That shit's gonna fall on deaf ears. Then he's just gonna decide he's only talking with the offense and his quarterbacks. And then all of a sudden, players are going to start pointing fingers. And now they were 5-1. Think about this. 5-5, and it's gotten worse.
Oh yeah,
it's gotten worse.
Well, they didn't look too good, even with the 5-1, right? That's why they made the quarterback change.
Yeah, there's lots of questions.
Well, they made the quarterback change week 2. Week 2. Now Nick brings him back, and he put the entire ownership based on that on Mitch Trubisky. Who Mitch Trubisky's a different quarterback. He's a different animal than Nick Foles. So what this was is coach wants to run his offense. This shit 2.0 with Nick Foles. It hasn't gotten better. It's only gotten worse.
He's not doing what a guy in a pocket could do, because that's what he is. He's a pocket passer. He could run.
Exactly.
But he's not Trubisky. Trubisky's more of a running and throwing kind of guy.
Exactly. So
this
what
guy
do you do? Well, what do you do with a Mitch Trubisky? What you said in the beginning. What a high school coach. You can't draft guys in high school. You have to take what your talent is and use it in the way. That's what he needed to do with Mitch, and he decided not to. He wanted Mitch to run his offense. His offense that sucks.
I don't know what his offense is yet, you know.
He doesn't know. That's what we're trying to tell people. It's like you can't say you haven't found. We're still looking for our identity. You're still 3 years. This guy, if he's your OC, he's fired. As your head coach, he should be fired tomorrow. I'm not kidding. This isn't blown smoke or
I agree.
happy time. This is any person that thinks that they think this isn't Matt Nagy, I don't care. You mentioned all the talent. At the end of the day, you look yourself in the mirror and watch the tape. And I know you, Dad. We would be out there on a Sunday morning going over goal line and blocking things correctly. We would go over it and over it and over until it was in our brains. And unfortunately, we're not doing that in Chicago. What we're doing is we're adding more plays. The Wildcat this week.
You know something, if I could simplify it, there are some coaches that have really talented players.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to mention his name. And they call plays. And they're very successful. I won't say a guy's name.
Okay.
He's in the NFL, doing very well. And there are guys that teach and do fundamentals. And the greatest coaches in the world are those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're great communicators. They have a reason for everything, and they listen to everybody. So you hire people that are smarter than you, and you all get together because you're the boss. Don't let them fire you, but you listen to them because they have brains. They've done this. Like the guy that was coaching tonight was calling the plays. He looks like he's 28 years old, maybe 30 years old. How long has he been in the NFL to be calling those plays? It's stupidity. Stupidity. You want somebody to call your plays? You put your best man in there. I don't care if he's the receiver coach. If he's been around for 30 years, you put him in there. Let him call the plays.
Lasers called plays, but Shane pointed out the guy's been fired after 1 year everywhere he's been.
Yeah, he's been there a max of 2. It's one. He'll be 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 2 years. He might squeak out, and then and that's really going all the way back to like 1999. He's very short. I mean, I know that's the coach's life, but man, it's literally 1 year, 1 year. He moves along, and at some point, you have to look at that and be like, well, that's got to be happening for a reason.
Yep. A good comment by Adam. He loves his Bears. The same shit year and out. Great deep, no offense. Every other team in the NFL could put drives together, but it's not us, and it's very difficult to watch. He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans deserve better because it is the job. It's like, this isn't high school.
You get paid a lot of money, Phil, in the NFL.
Exactly.
You gotta know what you're doing.
You gotta.
Yeah. And to me, they're not getting a bargain with this guy. To me, he's a terrible coach. He's one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in the NFL. He should not be in there. He shouldn't be a coach. I would do the same thing. I would fire him tomorrow.
It should.
That's a disgrace.
It's
disgrace.
It's so bad. The fans deserve better.
Remember I said 2 weeks ago, it was 3 weeks ago that I said give the guy a break, let him go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
I told you. Listen, let me say this. Let me say this to you. Like, in the NFL, your preparedness is your job. Assignments that are missed, I'm not going to blame Rashad Coward playing right tackle out there. I'm going to blame the head coach. Louis Riddick and Greasy pointed out things I've been pointing out for weeks. These tight formations, always in shotgun, get under center, do some things different. Instead, their difference is gimmick. If you can't block simple, like keep it simple, stupid, then how the fuck are you going to block a gimmick? You can't. It becomes a travesty. And it's so disheartening because that defense is so good. It's getting wasted. It's getting wasted. Now, Shane's right. Eddie Jackson and some of these players with the talking, but I really feel like Eddie, there's no excuse, but Nichols and Urban, they're trying to like find some emotion in the game to try to juice up the fucking offense. It's already, the tidal wave was what it was. And fans, I can't even blame Nick Foles. I can't even blame. I showed you last week's tape, right? And I said it's the worst coached football team on offense I've ever seen.
I went through it.
And you
I went through every play.
And what did you think?
It's terrible. It's just like, it's not worse than tonight. This is the worst I've ever seen.
But there's my point. There's
no improvement.
It's got worse. Just when you think it can't get worse, you become worse. I'm trying to think of the worst football team I've ever seen in the NFL. And I only keep coming back with this team. This offensive team is hidden under the umbrella of this defense. Think about that. He can't even figure out who his best players are. Greasy and Louis Riddick are like this watching the game. It's pretty difficult to watch if you can't admit that you got to hit Allen Robinson here. Get them matched up. Go to bunches. Spread them the fuck out so your quarterback can have the pocket. Instead, we're going.
Let me tell you, he's very accurate, but you're asking him to step up like a pitcher, really going fast and throw that long ball that actually that guy should have caught the ball, taking another step before he put his hands out. You lose your stride once you put your hands out.
Oh yeah, the one to Miller.
Anthony Miller.
Yeah,
to 17.
You're talking.
Yeah.
Number 17 continues to just think about the first interception. I want you to talk about this. I talked about it on Facebook, and I got people arguing with me. It wasn't the perfect ball by Nick Foles. It was a little behind, but it hits the dude dead in the fucking diamond, we call it. See the diamond? This protects your face. If you throw your hands up like this and you tap that ball, you better fucking eyeball it and catch it. Anthony Miller eyeballs it and tips it up like a volleyball.
Yeah.
That was on the receiver.
Yep.
I rest my case. I can't continue to watch the same mistakes over and 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 think that it's going to change. To me, it's unfortunate that Mitch got hurt because I just think Mitch could get you out of this because he could do different things for you offensively. I know that bothers a lot of people, but the reality is the truth in that. It's a Nick Foles issue. It's a Nick Foles issue from everybody. It's everyone wants to point the finger. It's this guy's issue. It's that. But really, it's a head coach that holds some people accountable, like the punt returner, and not the left tackle. He holds Mitch accountable, but not the right tackle, or not this person, and so on and so forth.
Tweet from Kyle Long tonight. Harry Heastand would have killed someone by now. Forget waiting until film tomorrow. You would be dead or fired. That's from a former Chicago Bears player, Kyle Long.
That's Kyle Long, Dad. You met him
Said
in
that.
Cleveland, remember? He's
Yeah.
been jabbing at Matt Nagy for 3 months, saying,
Yeah. He said
Matt
that he would.
Nagy's the fucking
He said if
issue.
the Bears wanted him, he would come back, but he just wouldn't come back to play for this coaching staff. He said that. He said that last year.
Oh, listen, you can't be friends first. Tough
No.
love, accountability, respect, then comes admiration and friendship after that. Because you have to be the leader of men. I remember being so afraid to mess up because you will flip out, and being a coach's son, it was like doubly, because you had all eyes on you within the locker room. You had fans thinking you're only playing because you're the coach's son. And then I don't want to let you down. So I fucking worked that much harder. So you have to be able to find in your heart. You have to be able to pull the right strings with people. How do you get toughness out of 72? How do you do it? You sit them down. You put people in positions or places they feel embarrassed or uncomfortable, and you allow them to work that shit out. Because if you can't do it across the board, and I'm talking with Khalil Mack too, every fucking player on the same level, then you're never going to win the locker room where it matters on the field. Anybody could be friends with these guys. This coach is
Shane.
great.
Yep.
He just said he was worried about whether he was going to screw up and let his father down on the team. He was a damn good back, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
He didn't embarrass me one bit.
Wow,
And
I
I
appreciate
never
that.
worried about that.
There was those 2 fumbles, though, Coach. I didn't even know him then, but I heard about them.
I never
We
fumbled.
all good backs fumble.
That's right.
I only fumbled once my sophomore year on Thanksgiving in the mud. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, Phil.
Oh, I got freaking popped in the backfield on a belly play.
That was 1989.
That was, 1989. Running a belly dive. I got freaking lit in this mud. Remember it snowed. But then it got real warm that morning.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It became muddy.
That was the last time I ever fucking put the ball. I almost did it one time diving over the pile against Amity for a touchdown. It popped out of my hand. I grabbed it. Anyway. Fucking reminiscing over here. We got shoe salesman.
Anyway,
we got a shoe salesman in Chicago as the head coach. That's the problem. That's the issue. We have a guy that was given the job because he is friends with Andy Reid, who has this dynamic offense, and anybody could call fucking plays there. Freaking Joey Smith he holds the local arcade. He does quarters on the weekend, handing them out. He could call plays. My son Tate could call plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's how much talent they have there.
That's
and
really
Matt
a lot of
Nagy,
talent.
Matt Nagy is from that tree. He was hand delivered to this franchise. So everything. Listen, anybody defending this coach, there's nowhere to hide. This is you. This is on you. This is your team. This is your thing. Now, if you're not a subscriber to the Patreon channel, right there, www.thetapeneverlies.com. Tonight we had issues with our YouTube channel. So normally I'm getting all these DMs and texts and I can't respond, but normally we're on YouTube on our network page. We'll upload this show here to it afterwards. There's a technical thing going on with our YouTube, the Tape Never Lies YouTube channel. So if you're a subscriber there and wondering where this show is, we've tried to put out plenty of messages to you. Those of you on Facebook Live, you're seeing us here, and we're on Shy City Sports, our sponsor for Keeping It 100 every Wednesday night. But usually we're on Wednesdays. This week we'll be on Thursday And we got some breaking news, Shane, for this Thursday night show. And I think it's going to be something big because the guest that we have is going to have a lot of good insight to what it is that we're going to be doing.
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
Oh, yeah. Breaking news here at the Tape Never Lies Network. This Thursday night, we're moving our show because we're up late this night. And Wednesday, Shane has a family obligation. So we're going to go Thursday night. We might as well, every time we go Monday or Sunday, move it to Thursday.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. We are excited to announce to you guys, you loyal TTNL fans, that we are going to have former Bears tight end Zach Miller jumping on the show with us to break down the Chicago Bears. This coach, he's been in the John Fox locker room. He's been in the Matt Nagy system. So he'll give us some great insight to what is going on here.
He wasn't with Nagy, but we get your point.
The next year, Nagy hired him, remember? And he became a player coach. Remember, he had that role?
Yeah, there was something, maybe like an advisor or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. So he was there, so he has a good understanding of Coach Nagy. I know he was calling straight out for Mitch Trubisky a few weeks ago, saying, "Put my boy Mitch, please," was his quote, right?
Yeah, it's from his T-shirt. Yeah,
we're gonna ask him that. We're gonna ask him a lot of stuff about this offense and what we will be doing. It's gonna be a good show. Thursday night this week, keeping it 100. Hopefully, the YouTube channel will be up and running by then and get rid of this issue. That's the business side of it. Shane, this coach, this offensive coordinator, they switched up the play calls. Did you see much of a difference?
Much of a difference? I saw a lot of question marks that, Phil, you and I are talking in real time. I mean, I cannot get out of my head that 3rd and 5 where you're not sending at least one guy on a slant. We've been talking. He sent all 3 wide receivers deep with an offensive line that can't pass block on 3rd and 5.
There was 4.
Yeah, it's
4
just
going out deep,
and it's 4 receivers.
Asking
them to protect.
You have a tight end.
Not one of them ran across the middle of the field.
You have a rookie tight end that's 6'6", 260 or whatever he is, and you don't want to take it
up and get a first.
Exactly. I just don't. Maybe they just really do overthink each and every single situation. But to me, like you said, Coach, keep it simple, stupid. Matt Nagy said himself that him handing off the play calling duties was going to let him concentrate more on situational football. And then he's like, if I hear a call, that I don't agree with, I'm going to have the ability to step in and, nix it or whatever. But I mean, third and 5, and you're calling a screen with, this is nothing against the wide receiver, but that's not his game at all. At all. Like Phil said, he's not a quick twitch guy. It's just, the Bears are at the point now where if you think that they can do something crazy, that's exactly what they're going to do, where it makes no sense. And how do you get out of it other than cleaning the deck and launching all these guys?
Well, nobody has the answers to those questions.
Right. Well, unfortunately, I don't think any of this is going to change, even if you clean the deck. It's a pay grade higher than the general manager. It's the team president, and it goes all the way up to ownership. And unfortunately, right, wrong, or indifferent, I know that this sounds horrible, but none of this is going to change until Mrs. McCaskey passes away and the kids want to cash in on the $1 billion team that they happen to own. Those are just facts, and I know it sounds awful. I'm not wishing ill on her or anything, but listen, Phil said this for years, and it's true. You have to be maniacal about what you do, and the Bears aren't. They're a $1 billion franchise that's run like a mom and pop store. It's terrible. And they have one of the most rabid fan base. Here we are watching that crap that we watched tonight. We don't have access to our YouTube page, but we still have over 400 people here live listening to what we're saying, 12:30 in the morning on the East Coast. And everybody here that's a Bears fan deserves better, but I just don't think this franchise cares. Their bottom line and their top line is dollars. That's it. Winning is very, very low on the totem pole.
Well, to go back to the Dub Williams with the question about the offensive line, the GM is to blame, yes. But at the professional level, there's talent there that can be coached up to do what you need to get done on Sundays, and they're not coached well. The fundamental, like Ryan Pace can't go out there and start coaching.
Well, that's the thing, Phil. A lot of people's rebuttal to that is saying that it's the execution. Well, if you're not coached well, if that's not pounded in, just like Coach said, it's the best coaches are the ones that are stressing fundamentals constantly, that are preaching it,
especially
and they're gonna
in this sport.
Exactly.
You can't just go out there
where
draw
inches
plays.
Matter. Yes.
You can't draw plays and then think that these linemen are gonna just block it up for you, and you're gonna hit the curl and the double out, and then the move, and then we're gonna run wildcat. Oh, we got it all planned. We're gonna run reverse. We're gonna run toss. We're not gonna kick out. We're not gonna run one counter play. Not one count. Nothing to counter off itself. So the blame to me obviously is twofold, and I know it's difficult for some people, but there's talent there on the offensive line. They're just so poorly coached. There's no accountability. There's no fundamentals there. It's the worst I've ever seen in the NFL. My dad doubled down on it. You didn't think you could get worse than last week against the Titans. And then you come out on Monday Night Football and you have every opportunity. You got a kick return. How many teams have lost a game with a kick return touchdown? I think the percentage is astronomical that you usually win with that. Bears couldn't even do that. He can't get out of his own way. You can argue, should he kick the field goal, kick it off to them, stop them, get the ball back, and try to win the game or tie it? Those are coaching situational things that this guy just doesn't get. Instead, we're going to try to drop back. Nick steps up, and yes, I'm going to break it down on the tape to see should Anthony Miller have caught that ball. I've watched it 15 times, but I want to see the coach's angle. Does he throw his hands up too early? You'll be able to see that on the All-22 because it's a coaching point. This guy's done that many a times before, and I've had a lot of fans debate me on it. You could talk about that, Coach. When you're running your route and you're going to the post or you're running the fade, if you throw your hands up too early, what happens?
You lose your stride.
The stride
You lose your
slows.
stride and your speed.
So now the anticipation of where the quarterback is throwing the ball to drop to, you at full speed, also gets thrown off a hitch. So in a game of inches, there's seconds. Think about that. A guy runs a 40 in 4.4 seconds, right? Think about how many inches are gained in that time. I'm not even a mathematician, and I break this down to these nerds that think they have it all figured out. The guy can run 40 yards in 4.3 seconds. He can get to the football. If you're running through it, you're going to catch it. If you can't, you dive. You've seen it with Allen Robinson before. All of these little intricacies, I feel like this team is not coached maniacally. They're coached on plays. They're coached on this is how we run our offense. They're not coached on fundamentals. And that it shows. At the end of the day, that is the fucking stake in the heart for this guy. That's what gets people thrown out of town. And really, ultimately, that's where I've been for 3 years with this guy. I've seen the storm. I've seen the shit before the storm. It is not good, and it's never going to get better. And you can make all the excuses you want for this guy, but it's really, it falls on the shoulders of the coach, in my opinion, because
I wanted to say one thing about receivers.
Yes.
That I learned from Sam a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That you're never going to get open unless you press. You have to press every single play, and you have to get your ability to make, man to man. You put a move on a guy. When you're in zone, you can't do that, but you can get open because you don't need the speed. But you got to press, and you got to keep working. If you're a wide receiver, you got to be working for his outside shoulder. He's got to believe you're going to run a fade. Then you can run a curl, or you can run a hitch, or you can run an out. And if you don't run it in his outside and you run an out, he is going to get to the ball. So if you run to his inside and you run an out, he's got an interception. So those are fundamental things you got to learn. Excuse me, sorry.
No,
but I don't see that. I think some great coaches, if you look at the great coach teams, they run great patterns. They separate. They have speed, but you shouldn't be in the NFL if you don't have speed. Am I right? You draft
Absolutely.
a kid,
It's a speed
and he runs
league.
a 4.6 40. He don't belong as a receiver.
He won't be playing receiver.
You can make him
in
a
the
tight
NFL.
end, but you can't make him a wideout. You just
Unless
can't do
he's
it.
the greatest route runner you've seen, like a Steve Largent or a Tom Waddle that lived on the art of the route and were able to press and be twitchy. Then you can get a 4.6 guy to sneak in there. But nowadays, based on what they're trying to do, you got to be that fast, and there's no excuse for putting your hands up too early.
You're such in a rhythm. You're in a rhythm with your quarterback. He knows that you're going to break now and the ball's released. It's that good if you're going to be good. Otherwise, it can't be good. You don't wait till the guy breaks and you throw the ball, because the defensive guy can get the ball as soon as he can. And the guys on defense are faster than the guys on offense. They get drafted that way. Am I right?
That was a great line by Dub Williams. Nagy says this all the time. It's very good. I never really pointed out. I'm glad you did. They know we can't have that. That means, in coach speak, in politics, it means I'm not holding anybody accountable. They should know. And that's really what it shows up on the tape. The same thing shows up on the tape.
Yeah.
Now, you look at guys out there, some positives that you see. I mean, a lot of people are hard on Robert Quinn because of his sack numbers. I'm just watching him play. He plays hard. He's playing hard, and they're going quick game, and they're running bootlegs to get. So you can't get to those third and longs. So it's very difficult. You saw the fucking Vikings tackle Khalil Mack on 3 or 4 plays. Finally, they called one. And it's hard for these guys to be successful on defense if you have no offense. It's really hard to be a pass rusher because you're not going to put Kirk Cousins in these situations where he's going to try to win the game for you, because he's not. So that's where just having a decent offense, you beat Minnesota 28-3 tonight. Like, if you just had a decent offense.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. That's how bad and poorly coached your football team is. It's like West Haven. They always had these great talent. Toss left, toss right. Anybody could beat you. You have so much more talent than anybody. You just don't know how to use it. That's the problem. Fundamentals. Adrian, I saw Adrian. He's 100% right. You could be so outmatched in talent. But if you play with fundamentals and sound fundamentals and aggressiveness, you could be in every game. So I know this is. You can
just look at New England.
You could try to blame the GM all you want. It really lies exactly. And I hate the fact that we're repeating ourselves over and over. Then we got JJ Stankovitz coming on here, and he's starting to lean. He's it's Nagy is an issue. And now everybody's starting to see the national media. Rex Ryan, dad, the former Shelton quarterback, Dan Orlovsky, calling.
Yeah, I saw him on TV today.
Calling Matt Nagy a fraud. He's not a teacher. A coach that can't teach is a fraud. It's his exact quote. You coach
Is that what he
against
said?
that kid. That's exactly what he said. I wish I said.
Yeah, he said it's like being married and trying to make your wife do everything that you like to do and never do what she likes to do. It's going to end in divorce, and that's exactly where the Bears and Matt Nagy are headed. And he's 100% right.
Well, he might have got himself fired tonight too.
Let's hope so.
Just listening to him, you can imagine. I mean, there should have been a little spunk. I'm so aggravated at this. This is ridiculous. You know,
Phil, ask you that. You know, the guy that they turned over play calling duties, Bill Lazor.
Oh my God!
In his press conference, when right after it broke that he was going to be calling plays, the first question that was asked him, they said, "Now, Bill, you know, you're preparing for a Minnesota team, and you bringing a losing streak into this game." And he goes, "Well, Minnesota doesn't have a losing streak." And they said, "No, you do, Coach. You have a losing streak." And he said, "No, we don't. No, we don't." He goes,
"No, we don't.
We don't believe that in this locker room. We've turned the page on that. We're not on a losing streak."
Well, that's a good positive thought,
but it's
ridiculous,
definitely positive, yeah. But it's exactly, it does sound very ridiculous.
This isn't the art of Zen where you're trying to like positive it into the universe and make it not real. This is football, and you are what your record is, and you are terrible, and you are on a losing streak. So you lost. Remember that movie? What was it? Jerry Maguire, when he's like, the girl goes, "You had me at hello." Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, this fucking guy lost us at that presser when he said, "We're not on a losing." How is he going to call plays? He doesn't even know the You're losing, coach. That's the only reason why you have this job, to call the plays, because the guy in front of you is the leader, supposedly, of men and a guru, has had to give it over to you. And he secretly has a campaign that he wants you to fucking suck. Because then he could say, it's the team that sucks. The GM sucks, not me. This is like an episode of Seinfeld. It's like George Costanza sleeping under the fucking desk all day. Then he gets up. That was a tough day at work, guys. So let me go back. Let's run Wildcat. That's what this is. It's such a... If he's not fired tomorrow, there should be a strike of fans at Hallis Hall. He's got to be gone. He's got to be gone.
I agree, Phil, but it's never gonna happen.
Remember how he pushed back at Cody White?
It's a matter of time.
Yep, I agree. I just don't think that they'll do it now.
This guy can never come back to. He can't come back to coach this team next year. No fucking way. After this, we said it. I said it. I know. National stage, given over the play calling. You've benched Mitch. You made all this shit. 2.0. My offense. I'm the guru. We're going to get it right. And you play worse than you did against the Titans. In a game that you should be blowing the Vikings out. Let's be honest. The Vikings, come on. It's terrible.
They got a good defense, though. They're well coached defensively. And incidentally, Phil, I don't like Cousins. I mean, I never liked him.
Yeah.
But those two receivers he had, they're excellent receivers.
Yeah.
That young kid, that first-year player,
Jefferson,
he runs great patterns.
Loved him.
And he's like a 10-year veteran out there on that play. I was so impressed with that kid.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, I know you've been up late. I want to thank you for coming on.
I hope you want me on. You know, I don't want to be a burden to you guys.
No, you're not a burden at all.
We got fans excited about you. If you're not a member of the Patreon, me and my father, it's going to be a hard time. Once we get after the bye, we're working on producing an open and everything like that to get me and my dad to break down critical plays in the game, get you involved. The fans love you. They tell me every week more of your dad. Bring him on. Look at him. You could see. Can you read him, Coach? We got a guy in the waiting room who probably loves hearing from you. You got your neighbor. Look at this guy. There he is with the hoodie. Look at him. Claudio over there. Look at him.
Oh, Claudio, how you doing?
What's up, Coach?
He thought he was a mug. He was a mugger.
I'm trying to hide.
Don't worry, he'll be calling
I wanna
plays
be
next
seen.
week for the Bears.
This team is so bad, I don't want to be seen talking about them.
It's you got to stick with your team. Got to get rid of the
Yes.
coach. That's all.
There you go. You got guys
When I went to
that
Chicago,
love
I
you.
couldn't believe the amount of people that were Bear fans. Oh my God, they hadn't won. They hadn't won in a while.
Bear
It was just
fans worldwide.
unbelievable.
Worldwide. You can go
I
to
know.
any state and wear a Bears t-shirt or a Bears hat, and somebody's in bear down. So you got look at this. Coach, you're awesome tonight. Coach O, thanks for your time,
Thanks.
Coach.
Nice talking to you guys. I enjoyed it. And
we
don't
love
worry
you.
about how late it is. The only problem I'm going to have is the Monday of was it the December 7th? Whatever you're playing, I'll be being operated on. Or,
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to tell. I did tell our patronage. So my father's going in for heart surgery. So you
not
loyal
sir. Hold it.
tape-
Let's get that correct. I'm going in for a procedure. It's going
Okay,
through the groin.
procedure.
I'm not no open heart surgery. Thank God.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that. I need a aortic valve replacement. That's what I need. And they do it through the groin. Can you believe it?
I think a lot of us would like to perform groin surgery on our head coach.
I could tell you a bunch of things.
You're not
that go
talking about
through the groin.
castration. are you?
Well, whatever works.
Well, say
Oh,
some
listen,
prayers.
guys.
I wasn't
Good
going to
night.
say it, but I'm glad you did. Now you're going to have some prayer chains for you. Yes, if you can send some positivity. I'm a big believer of positivity. I know my dad always says this famous quote. You want to say it tonight? You got to have
Surround us-
God in your life. You got to have God in your
Never
life.
left the field without saying that to the kids.
Gotta
And you know
have-
something? I had a couple of kids come to me
Mm-hmm.
and tell me, Coach, I didn't understand what you were talking about, but boy, do I know it now.
Yeah.
You know, so you change a lot. You change a lot of people's lives when you're doing the right thing and you care about kids or players. It doesn't make a difference on any level. You got to care about those players. Pros, college, high school, doesn't make a difference. Little league. Incidentally, you got a couple of kids there. I can't wait to see play.
Oh my God. We got some talent at the Etoshan
Yeah.
boys. They're calling them in the town of Meriden already. They got a reputation. Anyway,
That's cute.
Prayers to you. Obviously, I'll see you before then.
Yeah.
You'll be back on the show again. There's a bye week.
Next
but-
week.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
next
Bears
week
are-
is not.
Bears
Okay.
are on a bye next week.
And I'm
Then
gonna
they
see
have
you
the
Thanksgiving.
Green Bay Packers. Yes, I'll be there. Hopefully, the COVID mess doesn't hinder all the Thanksgiving visits and governors and all that. But yes, if you want more of my dad, right there on the lower bar, thetapeneverlies.com. I saw someone say about a coach's clinic. That's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to be putting up all 22, the coach's tape, and me and my dad are going to be breaking it down live where you can ask the questions. He's going to give you the answers. If we're debating, it makes for even greater television. It's going to be fun, but usually we agree on things like that. So I agree that you did a great job tonight. I love you. You have a good night.
Yeah,
and
you too.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Shane, nice talking to you guys. And Claudio, say hello to your family for me too.
Thanks, Coach.
He's waving to you there. There he
Okay,
is.
buddy.
Hey, what's the matter
Take care.
for you,
Good,
Claudio?
good luck.
God
Good
bless
luck.
you guys.
I know a few people that had that procedure. You'll be good. It's easy. Easy peasy. All right?
There you go.
All right, man.
All right, Coach. I love him. He brings it, Claudio, every time.
course.
Breaking it down. Got a little emotional there. I wasn't expecting the breaking news. He broke it. I did share it
Yeah.
with the patrons, and it's emotional because it's your dad. It's life, and
That's
life
right.
is not easy. You know.
I thought it was
Life
pretty
is never easy.
pretty awesome what he said about your high school days too. You know, he said he always
I
made him
try to-
proud.
I
He always made
try
him
to-
proud.
I don't like to talk about it. You guys. Exactly. My dad likes to talk about.
I just set that up for Shane.
He did.
I just
don't
said
like
it.
to really talk about my high school football days. But
So
we will.
We gotta bring it. We gotta bring in our boy because he's been waiting forever. It's his birthday. And,
yeah, it's past his birthday now. Maybe we just skip him.
Past his birthday.
Not here. Not here. Maybe Connecticut. Yeah. After that,
Hold on. He brought him in too early. Every time.
It's 100 Crew Hot Takes. Phil and Shane bringing on a fan to talk Bears and what just happened in the Bears game each and every week. You have to have hype.
Phil's always telling me to hype.
You can't be flat. So be ready, be prepared and bring your passion.
I had hype coming out of my ass.
It's 100 Crew Hot Takes. Hashtag Spencer Strong.
Those are big time fucking throws.
It's Bears Hour Live. Bring it on the fans. One of our favorite guys, patron member, also one of the leaders of our swag department. We had a big meeting today. It's your birthday. Shane, I know you've been excited for Alex to come on like nobody else.
It's the highlight of my day. Obviously, I thought it was going to be the Bears game, but then I heard Ace was coming on.
Yeah. How you could be excited after that game? That was pitiful.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the game here?
Well, you've seen
it's your birthday. You're coming in flat.
No, after that, yeah, you got to come in flat.
Audio delayed by like 12 seconds.
No. Is it on your end?
Big time.
Really?
Yeah.
He's coming in clear for me. Go ahead.
No.
You got to bring the hype, man.
No, after that, how can you have any hype? Matt Nagy is a horrible head coach. He's done. You got to get rid of him. Look, I thought Bill Lazor came out. You know, he had a good first drive there, but I mean, you got to dumb this offense down. I mean, look what the Vikings did. Simple boot action. They schemed everything around the pass rush. Everyone's complaining about Robert Quinn not getting Khalil Mack. Look what he did. That's what Khalil Mack is. He makes plays. He ripped out of Adam Thielen's hands, took it up, put it
playoffs. Don't talk about it.
Playoffs. Matt Nagy's a fraud. I'm so sick of this guy. I mean, what is there to say about this guy? Nothing positive. Nothing. Yeah. And then it's still gimmicky with the Wildcat. Look, the I formation, run the football. You know, I'm excited to see Mitch Trubisky. Maybe he could. If Mitch was in there today, he would have made plays with his feet, extended drives. You know, but what do I know? Everyone wanted Foles, and look, it all unveiled itself. Matt Nagy's a fraud. It was a blame game on everybody, and it all prevailed at the end.
Well, not a good way to kick off. What are you, 31 today?
31, yeah.
How old is Akeem Hicks? It was his birthday.
31.
You're both born on the same day, probably in the same
Twins. Twins.
They look alike. Look
They
up.
do.
Came in with a lot of hype. It's hard, but you got to bring the passion of frustration. Tap into that. Think of you as a coach looking at this team or being let down. I mean, to me, I love this game of football so much. I can't even tell you. It's an honor to have my dad come on here. He's 80 years old and living, you know.
Of any NFL team in the NFL, of all teams, Chicago deserves a winning team. It's
consistency. Yeah, it's consistent. I'm done. That's the thing in Chicago. The Chicago Bear way is to They'll start over. They'll start to bring in some talent. You get one good year, everybody gets hyped up, and then it's right back to the drawing board.
I said it back in 28. Yeah, exactly.
Back up,
Back
OC.
up.
Back the fuck up with your truck and pack your shit to get out of town. It's really gotten bad.
I said it to you guys a couple weeks ago on the phone. I said the defense can only do so much, and then you got people out there. Well, the defense can only do so much. That offense, oh my God, I don't understand if it's zero, why aren't you running just a simple slant? Get it quick, get it out there, get it to Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it, man. It's the same stupidity with this team.
You can't be you. You got to be together. I always say it, the team is a reflection of the head coach. Claudio puts it right up on the same time. I'm saying,
look, back
I say
when
it every week on The Tape Never Lies. You see the mistakes. You see it over and over and over. You can't tell me in any department that's running this franchise that they're not watching the same tape, that they're not watching the embarrassment, the lack of communication, the lack of fundamentals, the lack of ability to blitz pick up, the lack of ability to find an identity for 3 years, trading Jordan Howard out of town, benching Mitch Trubisky, the shit that went down with Kyle Long. Obviously, he's calling out this guy. Kyle Long comes from a fucking football-bred family. You think his dad would allow him to be fucking talking like this about a coach? You don't do that. He's doing it because his dad, Howie, probably knows that this is a shoe salesman. Lovie Smith got fired at 10-6. Don't tell me tomorrow you can't fucking do this. You got plenty of money to turn this around. Let the fans know that you care. It's a sad state with this organization. It's exactly what Shane said. We said it last week and the week before with Olin Kreutz, and we've been breaking this shit down like nobody else does. People with their hands out, the family wanting money and not wanting wins. Let me tell you a little secret, McCaskey family. You're not cheap. I'm never going to say that. You're not. But where you are stupid is surrounding yourself with people that are cheap. They're cheap to get to where you are. They're cheap hires. The Ted Phillips is counting pennies. That's how cheap he is. He's got Millhouse and all of that you got to get rid of and turn this fucking thing around. Get a president in here that loves football like the Etotians love football. Hire a maniacal head coach. I don't care how old the motherfucker is. If he's the young guy that knows the game, that studies the game, or he's an older gentleman that knows the game, I don't care. I want to see somebody in a position of power that loves the game of football and will do anything for the Navy, blue, orange, and white. If that means benching a problem child like an Anthony Miller, sit his ass on the bench, then he's in control. You know, a lot of people say a lot of shit about Rex Ryan. I can tell you one thing. He held people accountable, just like his dad. Those types of personalities are the things that have won in Chicago in the past. And it's sad because the old man, Hallis, was just like that. I mean, he held Gale Sayers, Dick Butkus, anybody accountable to do what was best for the team. Was his fucking drive to make the NFL what it is. And we're still sitting here with mediocrity, with politics, with worried about money and stadiums. Shane, what did JJ say? Well, I don't know if they could fire Pace because he really built the fucking... Who the fuck cares that he built Hallis Hall? Anybody could have done that.
What has it done for you? What has it done for you?
It's gonna draw on a good free agent? Who? Infetti?
That's about as dumb as this.
We got another Bam Bam.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
Yeah, we have to be able to laugh about something. That's all I got, man.
it's all we got.
So let me ask you this.
Real quick.
Okay, if Foles comes up to the line at zero coverage, why doesn't he audible? Why doesn't he make a change? You've seen how many third downs was it zero coverage? Almost every third down. He was full.
Yeah, they're going to blitz every down, so they're lining up. So why? I don't know. Why are they in tight? Why are they
Right.
doing these things? You have no idea. Imagine cutting 48 minutes of that. That means I watched over 2 hours of it.
No, I need to get
Cutting
you
it
up.
down.
I need to hear you live because I'm keep uploading my phone to see what you're saying after every play. Because
It's
the stupidity of this.
unbelievable. It's unfucking believable. Yeah, we're gonna do for Patreon. We're gonna go live, watch the game with the fans. Obviously, probably not putting it on the thing. We're all just gonna watch it together. I don't know what the rules are there, but the reality is that'll happen. Audible, exactly. They don't even know how to do simple things. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, the blame game is ran out for Matt Nagy. The time is now. You need to make a change. Dumb the playbook down. And look, we got to get some wins here in Chicago.
Well, they did that when they did that. They were doing what was best for the team when Mitch was in there with the playbook. The offensive line was different. Yeah, I know we've had some injuries and COVID and all that, but as soon as Nick Foles got in there, it was back to I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, and I'm not going to do what's best for the football team. So here we are, 5-1, and now you're 5-4.
Yeah, it was every week.
Or 5-5. Yeah, sorry.
We're 5-5. We're
we're
dead even.
Yep.
And people said it couldn't happen, but it did happen. Anyway, happy birthday to you, brother.
Thanks, man.
Really make a quick announcement this week. A lot of you have been asking about swag. We had a great meeting today with our swag gal over there in Illinois. We also had a meeting, obviously, you, Alex, and Chris Sandlin, our co-host of swag, our cohort. How do we say that?
Cohort.
Co-head.
You guys are taking care of the swag. We know you love the Tape Never Lies Network. Don't get it twisted because of this stupid coach and stuff. We're the voice. We're your voice. We are not going to stop.
You guys were saying it before everybody, man. This guy's a fucking fraud. Now it's coming out.
You could try to shut us down, but we're not. So we're going to rise up with you guys and keep it 100. We're going to call this team out. We had a great week of practice. Swag team. Exactly. Actually, this week, by Friday, the swag website will be up with some limited items. So if you want to get some Tape Never Lies Network items, that'll be up later this week. So obviously keeping it 100 will be Thursday. We got Zach Miller coming on with us. It's going to be a great show. The former Bears tight end Zach Miller. You remember his career. You don't remember against the Saints. He had that horrific injury, and Al Riveron.
They ripped him off, man.
With the smoking gun, ripped him off terribly. He's going to be on the show. We're going to talk about everything. So you got to be ready. Got to bring the hype better than Alex.
Yeah,
although Alex, tough night, birthday.
Man, I wanted that Bears win, man. They should have won this. It was a winnable game. Winnable game, of course, in Bear fashion.
It was tough. But anyway, this week, Swag Shop, Friday, right, Alex?
Yep, it'll be up.
And we're going to have hoodies, T-shirts.
Yeah, the T-shirt.
Long sleeve T-shirts. Those Tape Never Lies stuff and some surprise stuff. And then we'll be working more stuff into it.
We got some hat designs coming. You'll like them.
Shane's designing all the hats. He's a hat man.
Not all of them. Not all.
You got a whole room full of hats. I know it. A whole wall.
I used to, but yeah, I got grounded. A lot of them got thrown away, but I bought a bunch more.
I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, bro.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Go Bears.
Bear down.
There's a lot of bear down to go around. It's amazing to me, Shane, how this team is built.
Same old. They're built to be inept from the top to the bottom, unfortunately.
I totally agree with you. What's up, Matt Byers? I'm going to answer some of your questions. Obviously, on a loss like this, pathetic, It's hard to get up for. You saw Alex, I don't blame him. I'm not gonna hold him accountable tonight for not bringing his passion and fire. But I was struggling. That fucking third down screen play to Allen Robinson did it in for me, man.
Me too.
I fucking stormed out of this room. I didn't even see the fourth down play until Shane texted it to me. And I cannot even tolerate the bullshit excuses and the finger pointing directly as the head coach. Came here, let's keep it 100. Came here as an offensive guy. People gave him the guru and this and that, and they had success. And that happens sometimes. People aren't used to you. You get a lot of breaks. You look back on that season, fucking Mitch Trubisky made some plays that people just forget. The defense making big plays. 39 fucking turnovers. 39! 39. Do you think that had something to do with it? How many defensive touchdowns? I think it was 11. 11. I'm totally guessing there. It could be more or less.
Take this for what it's worth, but Akeem Hicks tweeted out, "We good." I'm assuming he's talking about himself. So
He's going to get some stem. He's going to get some stem on that hamstring.
he's got
that
2
laser
weeks.
treatment.
2 weeks to get straight. But Greg Bragg sent out a tweet right when it happened, and he said, "You saw this defense, really, I don't want to say fall apart because they didn't fall apart, but when he's not out there, it is different for damn sure."
I thought they actually stepped up there.
Oh, they played well, but they're
proud of them.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
Well,
they're
you
definitely
can't
not the
ignore
same.
it.
Yeah,
They're not the same. Imagine if they had him
and Goldman,
Eddie Goldman in there. This
Yeah.
kid McCullers, he keeps impressing me. They all really rose to the occasion.
he's a big boy.
All these games were winnable. Let's get to a few questions, and I'll say some positives. Here's my positives real quick. Roquan Smith, he's an absolute beast. He really is. He's becoming that fixture that we would hope that he would be. Anthony Miller is a punt returner. That's it. That's where he's at. Put him back, return punts. Take him off. We've seen enough. The letdowns, the one play that he makes, there's 4 that are bad. That's not good math. I'm not a mathematician, Shane. But if you do one thing good and then you do 4 things bad thereafter, at some point, the one thing good doesn't outweigh the 4 that are bad. Get him out. We've been saying it. Put Ridley in. Put Mooney in the slot. Start using that speed to attack the middle seam and get fucking 22 the fuck out of there. Because I tell you right now, if he's in the slot and he's running straight through the seam, it just baffles me, Shane, how they don't even know how to use Mooney half the time. They make one play and then they take 7 steps back. I don't see positivity from Eddie Jackson.
No, he's been my bear down, I think, 2 weeks in a row, Phil, on keeping it 100. And he's, like I said, he went after Derrick Henry up top, and it's not how you're not gonna survive doing that. It's not sustainable, and it's really, really dumb football.
I want to take out the refs. The shot to Nick Foles in the head should have been a penalty.
And what a crazy fucking way that did you hear the in-house referee, the in-broadcast referee?
On the final play? Or
No, on the one when Foles got hit in the head, yeah.
No, what did he say?
He said sometimes as a referee, when you're playing a clean game.
Oh my God, I did hear this.
I'm like, what?
We got to pull that for keeping.
Yeah, that's the entire reason you're there.
What is that? I want to hear what Zach Miller had to say about that. I know exactly. He said it was a clean call game that didn't call much penalties. And sometimes you're kind of in a lull where you're kind of not paying attention.
Yeah.
It was like, What?
It's
You
crazy.
got to make the call. It was a fucking penalty to Nick Foles' head. I'm trying to. We found a kicker.
Yeah, Santos, Mr. Consistency.
Santos is our kicker. I'm trying to find positives for people. I really believe my dad's right. I think Mooney and Allen Robinson. You got to re-sign Allen Robinson. You can't take even more steps back, bro.
I mean,
This offense is
he's. I mean, I don't know if he's even going to be willing unless they overpay him in a grotesque way. I mean, I think it's headed for Tagsville. Honestly, Phil, because I mean, you saw him throwing his helmet on the sidelines, and
did he?
Yeah, he did. He ripped his helmet off and fired it across the sideline, and I don't blame him at all. But I just, he's still a young guy, even though he's been in the league for 7 years. He's 27 years old, so he's got a lot of playing left, and he's come from Blake Bortles to Mitch Trubisky to Nick Foles, and that's not exactly a who's who of NFL quarterbacks.
You're probably right. I see Stewart saying he ain't re-signing after the disrespect.
Well, it's not. It's not. This is. When I say that, his future isn't in his hands. The Bears hold all the cards here because the Bears can tag him. So, and Allen Robinson knows that. His representatives know that. He can choose to not sign a long-term contract here. Doesn't mean he's playing anywhere else but in Chicago in 2021.
Great point by you.
Because
there's Al Cap.
Yeah, there was people out there during the game saying if they're Allen Robinson, he should sit out the rest of the season. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't want to get paid, go ahead and do that. It's not going to help you.
This guy my boy Jeremy Mueller wants to just let him go.
Why?
It's not popular. I have no idea. He just wants to be bad. I think I saw a couple tanks. We need to just tank now for a quarterback.
You're already out of that. You've got 5 wins. You can get closer. You're not going to get. You're not in Fields territory. You're not in Lawrence territory. It's a done deal.
Oh, this is getting worse by the minute. Do you think the O-line improved this game, Shane? It actually seemed like...
Okay, well, listen. Phil, you and I know Rashad. We've talked to him on air, off air. He's not an NFL lineman. He's just not.
He's not ready.
Was
Spriggs a healthy scratch tonight, or was he?
Yeah. No. He was
a healthy scratch.
He was active. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. But then, Alex Bars, same type of deal.
I'm gonna pull a Matt Nagy and say I gotta watch the tape, Eric, as I really do, because it seemed in the early part of the game that this offensive line was giving him a pocket.
Yeah.
And the play calling and the situations were just absent.
But it's
the same story.
The thing about it is this offense is so bad. This is where you can't lose, sight of what is important. This offense is so horrific. We're gonna praise the offensive line just because the quarterback didn't get sacked or they actually gave him a pocket. Our fucking bar's got to be set just a little bit higher. That's the thing. It's the same thing at quarterback. That's why I tweeted out when Tyler Bray came in, I was almost hoping, because if he would if he would have thrown a bomb and the Bears would have won.
Throw it deep.
Well, exactly. But the problem with that was 85% of the fan base would have said Phil, there was a point where people were saying Chase Daniel was a guy that you could move forward with. Brian Hoyer.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just saying
you have to keep people in lanes. They want the brawl, go chase. You want reality, you come here and we'll break it down.
Yeah.
It's not a fight. It's reality. It's the truth. Let me say this, and then we'll wrap up. In my life, these are my final thoughts, Shane. In my life, being around football, I've learned a few things about the game and about the people within it. When the game is absent from scouting and understanding what your opponent's trying to do, and you're so worried about trying to do what you want to do, you lose every time. So let me put it to you like this. Do you think you could run an option play with Nick Foles? No. So do you think any defensive coordinator is going to be threatened by a mesh?
Not at all.
With him pulling and running option? The only action is a reaction to either your running or your throwing. So you and your offense are out. They're out because Patrick Mahomes can run. He's not a runner, but he can threaten you. So that makes you have to stop. Makes you have to pause. Nick Foles is not getting to any edge. The only edge is the gym that he can go to work out. And I hope you have one so you know that there is an edge gym because they're all over here in Connecticut. The reality is that's the route. When Mitch comes in there, you can run option because he can run. You can run read option. He becomes a threat. So now is he going to pull it? And then you put defenses on notice. You put them on an isolation. He doesn't know his personnel. He doesn't know what they do formationally. And he doesn't know how to attack an opponent. And you got that Barone comment that Shane shared on Keeping It 100 to back this up. Any offense that's reading and not attacking is never winning because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know where you're scheming to make your money. And that's really what all boiled down to tonight. And you still had an opportunity to win. You had an opportunity to beat the Saints. You had an opportunity to beat the Titans. And you had an opportunity to win tonight. And you should have won 28-3. Instead, you get beat and you get embarrassed. And you had 36 total yards of offense. 36. I think that was the number, right? In the second half, you had 36.
Yeah.
And that's the offensive guru. That's planning. This is paid coaches, millions of dollars, to go out there and rub bubble screen and make Cordarrelle Patterson the whole game plan when he is just a great kick returner and a matchup that you use as a chess piece. It's like, what's that piece, Shane, on the chessboard? Is it the rook that you could just go at angles? Or do you not play chess?
Not a chess guy.
Anyway, those are my final thoughts, Shane. And this coach is just completely, in my opinion, to blame for this and why we're here at 5-5. Your final thoughts?
No, it's much of the same, man. It's this defense is fantastic, something that they can build on, but this offensive philosophy, coaching staff is fundamentally flawed, and it's not something that I can't in good faith turn the Bears' first round draft pick over to Ryan Pace and to Matt Nagy. You know, maybe they do go get an offensive lineman. Who knows? But obviously, quarterback, listen, if you don't have a quarterback, you're where we are. That's why the Bears have been so inept for so long. And that's why they're a laughing stock. That's why jackasses like Jason LaCanfora and all these assholes go after Bears fans on Twitter because, you know, it's a fucking clown show. It really is. It's never going to change until you win consistently, and it's never going to change until you start to get consistent play from the quarterback position and have a fundamentally sound offensive plan. And they don't. You can say whatever you want about Lovie Smith, and yes, the Bears had glimpses, but he also changed offensive coordinators how many times, Phil? You know what I mean? There's no consistency on the offensive side of the football in Chicago. There's not. You invest in David Montgomery so much that you trade up in the draft for him, and you don't want to use him.
You don't know how to use him.
You took the 43rd overall pick this year and used it. You heard them say it on the broadcast tonight. They want to get him more involved. He had 0 targets last week. He had 1 catch tonight, correct? Come on. So that means he's had. I think
intended for Allen Robinson.
Yes.
If you watch it.
Yep.
He
and
actually comes in front of it.
I believe that's 13 or 4. I believe it's 13 targets on the season that Cole Kmet has, and we just played our 10th game of the year. 13, Phil. He should have that in 2 games.
I know you predicted that. We can't even do it, man. It's a disgrace. It's something. I'm glad because the Monday Night Football, let me keep it 100 real quick, will push the all 22. It won't come out till Wednesday. So that means the Tape Never Lies will probably come out on Thursday, and keeping it 100 with Zach Miller will be Thursday night. So patrons, you'll get the full version. And one last time, go over to the Patreon channel, www.thetapeneverlies.com. Become a patron member. Coaches clinics, analysis, full offensive, defensive, special teams breakdowns, fun shows, pop-up shows, breakfast shows, lunchtime shows, everything going on there. You like this, you like BHL. Right now there's a terrible taste in your mouth, but it's with all of us. The only way we're going to change it is if we keep talking about it and you keep shouting out, don't be Shu. Don't be you. Be together. Let's do this all together. I want to thank Claudio for producing tonight. That was my fault on the open.
Yeah.
I was telling
the 3 opens that we had.
I don't want to blame Claudio. It's my fault.
I had a run, dude. I had a run because Shane, you were looking down. You weren't even saying. I had to run into the other room and say, "Phil, you got keeping 100
I'm
open."
texting Claudio to get the music.
No, I could hear it. I'm like, what is he doing? And then you went off keeping it 100, and then you went to a different thing, and then a different thing, and then a different thing.
That's
like,
why we have to switch that fucking thing, Shane, because
all right, so let's.
I'm looking for it.
That's
so anyway,
fine.
Let me end it. We love you guys. BHL, catch us Thursday. Tape Never Lies. It's all there. Shout us out, DM us. We'll be there. If you need therapy, maybe we'll pop up earlier. Something will happen.
Thank you for watching Bears Hour Live, the best post-Bears game show on the planet, on the Tape Never Lies Network.